Hello, esteemed gentlemen. Silence is only frightening to those who are empty inside. Carl Jung. Ever noticed how some people can walk into a room without saying a single word, yet suddenly the air feels heavier, the noise dulls, and eyes begin to orbit them like moths circling a dim but irresistible flame? Science tells us that humans are hardwired to track anomalies. Anything that doesn't fit the pattern instantly hijacks our attention. And Sigma males? They are the ultimate glitch in the social system. While most men compete like roosters in a yard, flapping feathers and making noise, the Sigma male is that one strange bird perched quietly on the fence doing nothing, yet everyone keeps looking, wondering, what's his deal? It's not about being loud, dominant, or attention-hungry. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Their refusal to play the social games everyone else clings to makes them magnetic. So, buckle up, because today, we're peeling back the curtain on 12 extraordinary reasons why people can't stop staring at Sigma males. Reasons far deeper, sharper, and stranger than the tired clichés you've heard 1,000 times. Number 1. They trigger subconscious jealousy. People stare at Sigma males because, deep down, they trigger a kind of jealousy that most people won't admit out loud. It's not the shallow jealousy of someone's car, clothes, or status symbol. It's the raw, gnawing envy of freedom. Sigma males carry an independence that most people secretly wish they had but can't seem to touch. They move through life without asking for permission, without bending themselves into shapes to fit someone else's approval, and without playing the endless games that drain everyone else. That kind of self-possession doesn't just get noticed, it unsettles people. Everywhere you look, people are tethered to something. Approval from peers, validation from social media, the need to belong to a group, or the fear of missing out. Sigma males simply don't run on that fuel. They stand apart, not because they're trying to, but because they refuse to need the things that everyone else is addicted to. And when people spot someone like that, it forces them to confront their own chains. They stare, caught between admiration and irritation, because here's someone living in a way they secretly crave, but don't dare pursue. That stare can even come laced with hostility. There's a part of human nature that resents seeing someone escape the rules we ourselves feel trapped by. Sigma males aren't trapped in the rat race of constant competition, yet they somehow thrive. They don't chase the spotlight, yet they remain visible. They don't beg for recognition, yet recognition finds them. Watching that unfold can sting, because it exposes just how unnecessary so many of our daily struggles really are. At the same time, the envy Sigma males provoke isn't always negative. For some, staring at them becomes almost like studying a living blueprint. People want to decode how someone can walk away from expectations and still stand tall. They want to know what it feels like to live without the invisible weight of needing to be liked, noticed, or praised. That silent study keeps eyes glued, searching for the source of their strength. In the end, people don't stare at Sigma males because they're flashy or loud. They stare because deep down, they know they're looking at someone who embodies freedoms they've been conditioned to believe are impossible. That unspoken envy lingers. And it's the reason eyes follow Sigma males long after they've left the room. Number 2. They carry absence inside presence. Even when a Sigma male is standing right in front of you, there's a strange feeling that he isn't fully anchored to the moment. He's there, but he's also somewhere else, like he's got one foot in the room and the other planted in a world of his own making. That energy alone is enough to grab attention. People can't help staring because there's an unshakable sense that if you look away, even for a second, he might simply be gone. It's not about drama or making an exit. It's about the way he carries himself like he owes no one permanence. This subtle aura of absence unsettles people more than they realize. Most men cling tightly to spaces, desperate to prove they belong, to be seen, to be remembered. Sigma males don't perform that ritual. They move with a calm detachment that quietly declares, I don't have to be here and I don't need to stay. That alone makes them magnetic. Humans naturally stare at things that feel uncertain, and a Sigma male's presence is always dipped in uncertainty. That uncertainty also feeds into fascination. People live in a world where most actions are predictable. Colleagues show up, friends follow routines, strangers behave according to social codes. Sigma males interrupt that pattern. They bring an undercurrent of impermanence, the possibility that they might leave, cut ties, or disappear without warning. This unpredictability makes people want to keep watching, as though his very existence is a scene that could change in an instant. It's not an act of arrogance or superiority, it's simply the way they are wired. They're not bound by the invisible glue that holds most people in place. That creates an aura of mystery, but not the cliché kind. It's not about secrecy, but about freedom. The freedom to come and go without attachment. People feel that, even if they can't explain it. And because of that, their eyes hold on to him, waiting for confirmation that he's either here to stay or about to disappear into thin air. That paradox, being fully present yet carrying the possibility of absence, is exactly why Sigma males pull stairs without lifting a finger. They remind people of something most are terrified of, the reality that anyone can walk away at any moment, and some men actually live like they could. Number 3. They don't shrink when exposed. When most people feel the weight of eyes on them, their behavior shifts instantly. Some shrink into themselves, trying to disappear from the spotlight. Others swing the opposite way, overcompensating with louder voices, forced laughter, or exaggerated gestures. It's a survival instinct. Change yourself so the attention feels safer, less threatening. Sigma males don't play that game. When the room turns its gaze toward them, they don't adjust, perform, or soften. They simply stay exactly as they are, unaffected and unshaken. That unflinching refusal to bend under observation is what makes people stare even longer. There's a raw kind of power in not shrinking because it communicates something rare, comfort with being fully seen. Most people edit themselves when exposed, but Sigma males don't filter or dilute their presence. Their stillness under scrutiny feels like defiance. But it's not rebellion, it's authenticity. That's what hooks people's eyes. The human mind is wired to keep watching anything that doesn't flinch under pressure, the same way we can't look away from a flame that refuses to burn out. This resistance also unnerves people. When someone remains unchanged under the spotlight, it strips away the invisible power of attention. Normally, the watcher feels in control, but Sigma males flip that dynamic. By staying rooted, they silently communicate, "Your gaze doesn't define me." That reversal unsettles the onlookers, who end up staring harder, trying to provoke some kind of reaction that never comes. What makes it even more intriguing is that this isn't a performance. They're not being still to prove a point. They're simply unmoved by the idea that others are watching. That kind of calm presence exposes how fragile most people's confidence really is. The crowd stares, partly in admiration and partly in disbelief, because they're witnessing someone who doesn't bend to social gravity. In a world where nearly everyone is conditioned to react to attention, whether by shrinking or overperforming, the Sigma male's refusal to move an inch becomes magnetic. The longer he stays unshaken, the harder people stare, searching for cracks in his armor that don't exist. And in the silence of that stare, the truth becomes clear. He doesn't need to perform, and he doesn't need to hide. He only needs to remain exactly as he is. That alone is enough to hold the room. Number 4. They're not afraid to look bored. In a culture where everyone is busy nodding, smiling, and pretending to be fascinated just to blend in, Sigma males commit what feels like social blasphemy. They let their boredom show. No fake grins, no polite overreactions, no forced laughter at jokes that died halfway through. Their faces tell the truth, even if it's uncomfortable, and that truth draws eyes like a magnet. People can't look away from someone who refuses to play the game everyone else is trapped in. This raw honesty unsettles people because it cuts straight through the layers of social performance. Most people are taught to mask disinterest out of politeness, fear of rejection, or the need to be liked. Sigma males simply don't see the point. If they're bored, it shows. That refusal to sugarcoat their emotions in public makes people stare, not because boredom is rare, but because showing it openly is. There's also a subtle kind of power in this. By not pretending to be entertained, Sigma males quietly declare that their attention is valuable. They don't give it away cheaply. and they're not afraid to withhold it when something doesn't deserve it. This unnerves people because it forces them to question the worth of what they're saying or doing. Suddenly, the one bored face in the room becomes a mirror, reflecting back the emptiness of the performance. And then comes the curiosity factor. People wonder what's going on in his head. If this moment isn't enough to hold his focus, then what is? That mystery keeps eyes locked on him, as though watching his indifference will reveal what kind of world he finds worthy of attention. Ironically, what others view as impolite or even intimidating becomes the very reason they keep staring. In a sea of fake smiles and rehearsed enthusiasm, the Sigma male's unfiltered honesty feels both rebellious and refreshing. He doesn't need to pretend, and that lack of pretense is precisely what sets him apart. His boredom doesn't make him invisible. It makes him impossible to ignore. Number 5. They look expensive without trying. There's a certain kind of wealth that can't be bought or worn, and Sigma males carry it naturally. It isn't about designer clothes, flashy watches, or the kind of loud branding most people rely on to signal importance. Their value shows in the way they move, the way they sit, the way they hold space. It's the richness of presence that makes people think, this man is worth something, even if they can't explain why. That unspoken sense of value is what makes others stare, the way you'd study an artifact that clearly holds worth without needing polish or labels. This expensive without trying quality comes from subtle details. Their posture is relaxed but firm, their movements deliberate instead of rushed, their silence unforced rather than awkward. Nothing feels borrowed or performed, it all feels owned. And when someone fully owns themselves, it radiates like quiet wealth. People notice because so few carry themselves with that same level of natural authority. It also stands out because it contrasts sharply with how most men seek validation. Many try to display value through external signals, status symbols, loud performances, or constant proof of success. Sigma males don't. They let their presence do the work, and that confidence is more striking than any label could ever be. People stare because they want to decode it. What makes him seem valuable without the usual props? There's also an intimidating undertone to this kind of presence. When a man looks expensive without showing effort, it unsettles others who work tirelessly to be noticed. It highlights how unnecessary all the noise, flexing, and branding really is. He doesn't play the same game, yet he outshines those who do, simply by being comfortable in his own skin. That quiet superiority is what keeps eyes lingering. What makes it even more magnetic is that it isn't arrogance. He's not trying to convince you of his worth, and that lack of desperation only amplifies the effect. Like a rare artifact, his value is obvious, even without explanation. People stare not because he's begging for attention, but because they can't help but recognize it. In a world where most try to look valuable, Sigma males simply are. And that effortless richness, value without labels, presence without performance, is what makes them unforgettable to anyone watching. Number 6. They don't broadcast, yet they're loud without words. Most men step into a room and immediately start broadcasting, talking louder, laughing harder, telling stories, or stretching themselves wide just to be noticed. It's a performance, a way of saying, I matter, look at me. Sigma males don't do any of that. They don't push their presence into the space, yet somehow they still end up being the ones people can't stop watching. Their silence becomes its own kind of noise, louder than the chatter filling the air. In a world addicted to overexposure, staying quiet is disruptive. People aren't used to silence that holds its ground. It feels different, even uncomfortable, and it forces the room to rearrange itself around it. That's why eyes drift toward the Sigma male, because he's the one not fighting for attention, and paradoxically, that makes him the center of it. The power of this kind of silence is that it doesn't beg, it demands. Without saying a word, Sigma males communicate self-assurance. They're not proving themselves through volume or theatrics, and that absence of effort makes people lean in harder, curious about what's going on beneath the surface. Silence, in this case, doesn't signal weakness. It signals control. It's the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't need to shout to be heard. there's also a psychological pull at play. Human attention gravitates toward anomalies. In a crowd where everyone is noisy, the one who doesn't join in becomes the anomaly. His silence is a break in the pattern, and the brain can't help but fixate on it. People stare, waiting for the silence to crack, waiting for him to reveal something, and when he doesn't, the mystery deepens. What makes it even more compelling is that this silence isn't calculated. Sigma males aren't being quiet to manipulate the room. They're simply comfortable not broadcasting, and that natural detachment is exactly what makes it so magnetic. It's authenticity in its purest form. So while others drain themselves trying to be seen, Sigma males prove a paradox. The less they try to take up space, the more space they occupy. Their silence isn't absence. It's presence amplified, loud enough to draw eyes without a single word spoken. Number 7. They wear comfort like armor. Comfort is one of those things most people fake without realizing it. You'll see them tugging at their sleeves, shifting in their chairs, checking their phones just to look occupied. It's the body's way of saying, I don't feel fully safe here, so I'll distract myself until I do. Sigma males stand out because they don't need those crutches. They wear comfort like armor. Wherever they are, they look anchored, steady, unhurried, and completely at ease in their own skin. That rare calm pulls eyes toward them, because it's both unusual and intimidating. The truth is, most people are restless in public. They're either trying to look busy so no one questions them, or they're adjusting themselves to make sure they fit the unspoken expectations of the room. Sigma males don't bend like that. Their body language quietly declares, I belong here not because you approve of me, but because I've already approved of myself. That level of ease doesn't go unnoticed. It demands attention without trying. What makes it so powerful is the contrast. In a world where everyone looks like they're managing themselves, managing how they stand, how they speak, how they appear, the Sigma male looks like he isn't managing anything at all. He's not rehearsing, not performing, not scanning for permission. And that effortless steadiness unsettles people because it highlights how much energy they waste just trying to look comfortable. There's also a deeper layer. Comfort, when worn with that kind of natural confidence, becomes intimidating. It signals that he doesn't feel threatened by anyone else in the room. He doesn't need to prove or defend his place. That quiet assurance makes others stare, sometimes in awe and sometimes in irritation, because it reminds them how exposed and fidgety they feel in comparison. And here's the irony. The Sigma male isn't trying to project power through his comfort. He simply is comfortable. But that natural authenticity is what makes it feel like armor, because nothing pierces it. Whether people stare with curiosity, admiration, or envy, it doesn't rattle him. If anything, their eyes only confirm the strength of his presence. In a restless world, true comfort is rare, and when someone wears it so naturally that it feels unshakable, it becomes impossible not to watch. Number 8. They don't flinch under direct gaze. Most people treat eye contact like fire. They touch it for a second and then pull away before it burns. When someone realizes they've been caught staring, the instinct is to look down, laugh it off, or pretend it never happened. Sigma males don't do that. They don't flinch, they don't break, and they don't surrender the moment. When a pair of eyes lock onto theirs, they hold the gaze, calm and steady, as if to say, I see you, and I'm not moving first. That quiet boldness creates a tension that pulls people deeper into the very stare they meant to avoid. There's something unsettling about a man who won't drop eye contact. It flips the balance of power instantly. Suddenly, the one who is watching feels exposed, as though they've been caught trespassing. Sigma males don't need to threaten or intimidate. Just holding the gaze is enough to turn the tables. What began as curiosity turns into an unplanned contest, one where most people blink, fidget, or retreat first. And the more they try to shake off the moment, the more magnetic it becomes. This refusal to flinch isn't arrogance, it's presence. Sigma males aren't afraid of being seen, and they don't treat eye contact like a challenge to be avoided. To them, it's just honesty, two people acknowledging each other without masks. That level of unguarded calm is rare, and it's precisely why people keep staring, even when they didn't mean to. The effect lingers even after the gaze is broken. People walk away remembering that look, the steadiness, the lack of apology, the silence that seemed to weigh more than words. It plants a seed of intrigue, even unease, because it's so different from the everyday rhythm of glances and distractions. In a world where eyes dart and slide away at the first sign of contact, Sigma males break the pattern simply by standing their ground. They don't weaponize the gaze, but they don't surrender it either. That refusal alone turns a fleeting glance into a moment people can't forget, and it's why they end up staring longer than they ever intended. Number 9. They blur politeness with defiance. Most people grease their way through social interactions with little rituals, nodding even when they don't agree, smiling to smooth over silence, or laughing at jokes that aren't funny just to keep the peace. It's second nature, almost robotic. Sigma males don't bother with that. They strip away those invisible rules, and in doing so they blur the line between politeness and defiance. They won't nod unless they mean it, they won't force a smile to ease tension, and they won't laugh on cue to protect someone's ego. That break from the script immediately makes people stop and stare. The reason it's so unsettling is because most people rely on those small social gestures to measure their own value. A laugh means, "I'm accepted." A nod means, "I'm being understood." A polite smile means, "I'm safe here." When a Sigma male doesn't deliver those cues, it shakes the other person's footing. Suddenly they're left wondering, is he uninterested, is he challenging me, or is he just honest? That uncertainty makes them study him harder, desperate to figure out where he stands. What makes this even more intriguing is that Sigma males aren't trying to be defiant. They're not rebels putting on an act. They simply don't see the point of coding interactions in sugar they don't feel. And that's where the tension lies. Their raw authenticity looks like defiance in a world where everyone else is performing politeness. People stare because they're trying to decode whether it's confidence or arrogance, indifference or strength. This absence of social grease also creates a ripple effect. In group settings, Sigma males expose how much of the conversation is just filler and performance. When everyone else is laughing on cue, he isn't. When others are nodding just to keep the speaker comfortable, he's still. That contrast is sharp, and it draws eyes like a spotlight. The paradox is that this lack of performance often earns deeper respect. At first, people may feel unsettled, even irritated, but the longer they're around him, the more they recognize that his reactions are real. And realness, in a world drowning in polite lies, is magnetic. So people stare, not because the Sigma male is loud, but because his refusal to fake it forces everyone to question just how much of their own behavior is genuine and how much is just habit. Number 10. They seem like they're watching a different movie. Most people sync themselves to whatever script is playing in the room. If everyone laughs, they laugh. If the group looks shocked, they look shocked. It's a kind of unspoken choreography that keeps social spaces predictable and smooth. Sigma males don't always join that rhythm. They seem to be tuned into something else entirely, as if their focus is split between what's happening in front of them and a private layer of reality that no one else has access to. That misalignment is what makes people stare, because it feels like he's reacting to a movie no one else is watching. This creates a strange tension. When the crowd reacts one way and he doesn't move, it feels noticeable. When the group finds something hilarious and he doesn't even crack a smile, people's eyes dart toward him, trying to decode his silence. And when he smirks at something no one else caught, it unsettles the flow of the room. It's not rebellion, it's simply authenticity. He doesn't fake sync with the script, and that refusal exposes how scripted everyone else actually is. The fascination deepens because people can't tell what's going on in his head. They wonder if he's judging, analyzing, or just uninterested. That uncertainty keeps eyes locked on him. It's the same curiosity you feel when someone laughs at a joke you didn't hear. You want in on whatever they know. Sigma males, without trying, create that effect constantly. There's also an element of quiet defiance in the way they detach from group reactions. They send the unspoken message that their reality isn't dictated by the crowd's cues. That independence can feel intimidating because it shows that he doesn't need the safety net of group approval to validate his responses. He's free to experience moments differently, and that freedom is what makes people uneasy yet fascinated. The truth is, most people crave alignment because it feels safe. Watching someone who doesn't need that safety creates both envy and intrigue. People stare because Sigma males break the illusion of shared reality. They remind everyone that there's always another way of seeing things, another script running quietly beneath the obvious one. And that reminder is powerful enough to hold attention long after the moment has passed. Number 11. They radiate controlled danger. There's a difference between loud aggression and quiet danger. Loud aggression is easy to spot. It's the guy puffing his chest, raising his voice, or throwing his weight around to prove something. That kind of energy burns fast and usually collapses under pressure. Sigma males don't need to do any of that. They radiate a controlled danger, the kind of presence that suggests they could end a situation quickly if pushed, but they choose not to. That restraint is what makes people stare, because it feels both unsettling and magnetic at the same time. Humans are wired to scan for threats. It's a survival instinct that never left us, even in modern society. When someone walks into a room and carries themselves with quiet composure, but underneath that composure, there's a hint of capability, a readiness, you notice it. Sigma males give off that subtle charge like a coiled spring that isn't moving but could snap into action at any moment. People may not be able to articulate it, but they feel it in their gut, and their eyes keep returning to it. What makes this energy so powerful is the balance. They don't flaunt it or weaponize it, but they also don't hide it. It leaks out in body language, calm posture, steady eye contact, movements that are deliberate instead of jittery. It's the kind of presence that says, I'm in control and I don't need to prove it. That calm dominance unsettles people who are used to bluster and noise being the markers of strength. The fascination comes from contrast. People stare because Sigma males can sit in silence without looking weak, hold their ground without aggression, and disengage without looking submissive. That kind of power is hard to place. It isn't obvious like muscles or shouting. It's subtle, and subtle power lingers longer in the mind. And then there's the unpredictability. Controlled danger suggests capability with restraint. People know instinctively that if that restraint dropped, things could escalate fast. That tension keeps attention glued. It's the same reason people can't look away from a storm cloud forming in the distance. It might pass quietly or it might break open, but you're compelled to watch. Sigma males embody that storm before the rain energy. Not chaotic, not reckless, just calm, contained, and capable. And that aura alone is enough to hold the eyes of anyone who senses it. Number 12. They seem untethered from time. Time is one of the strongest forces shaping how people behave. Most move in sync with its pressures, rushing when the clock demands it, dragging when they're drained, constantly adjusting themselves to deadlines, appointments, and expectations. Sigma males break from that rhythm entirely. They move with a pace that feels untethered, as if urgency and delay simply don't have the same grip on them. That difference alone makes people stare, because it's like watching someone walk through the world on a different frequency. Their rhythm isn't slow or lazy, and it's not rushed either. It's deliberate. They carry themselves as though they aren't being chased by the invisible whip that drives everyone else. This creates a subtle aura of control, because anyone who seems immune to time's pressure automatically feels larger than life. People notice it, and curiosity takes hold. How does he move like that when the rest of us are barely keeping up? This detachment from time has another effect. It unsettles those who are chained to it. Most people wear their stress in their body language, always checking watches, scanning phones, tapping feet. When they see a Sigma male completely still in his own rhythm, it highlights their own restlessness. They stare partly out of envy and partly out of disbelief, because it feels unnatural to witness someone so unbothered by the ticking clock. It also creates mystery. Someone untethered from time appears unpredictable. If he isn't being driven by the usual pressures, then what is guiding him? People stare because they want to decode that secret engine, the inner compass that allows him to move without being dragged by deadlines, group expectations, or fear of being late. That hidden rhythm makes him look both independent and elusive. What seals the intrigue is that this timeless quality doesn't come across as laziness or apathy. It feels purposeful, almost like he exists in a private dimension where he sets the rules. And in a world where everyone else is sprinting, waiting, or stressing, that kind of steady presence is jarring in the best way. Sigma males don't just occupy space, they occupy time differently. And because time governs almost everything people do, anyone who looks free from it will always draw stares, half in admiration, half in unease, but never in indifference. When people stare at Sigma males, it's never just because of looks, fashion, or noise. It's because they carry something deeper that unsettles and fascinates at the same time. Their silence is louder than chatter, their stillness stronger than performance, and their presence heavier than the empty rituals everyone else clings to. They don't flinch under scrutiny, they don't beg for validation, and they don't dilute themselves to fit the room. Whether it's the aura of controlled danger, the honesty of showing boredom, or the rare calm of wearing comfort like armor, every detail of a Sigma male challenges the way people expect men to behave. What makes them unforgettable is that nothing they do is an act. Their magnetism doesn't come from effort, it comes from authenticity. And in a world drowning in noise, fakery, and performance, authenticity is the one thing people can't look away from. That's why eyes follow them, not out of obligation, but out of instinct. If you found these insights powerful and eye-opening, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more extraordinary content like this. Don't forget to like this video, drop a comment with your thoughts, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Your support helps this community grow, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.